after I made my scorching little boys rant, a rant about the show, The Boys, that is, I thought I'd come on here to make another quick video to address something that I am just struggling with here as a fan of superheroes and as I notice watching The Boys. I can no longer say that I am a fan of The Boys, and I can barely say I'm a fan of the X-Men because both are so allegorically driven that it's hard to even consider them escapism, to even consider them good stories. I mean, let's be real. The X-Men is bordering on fucking gay, and The Boys is just it's slop. Usually whenever I watch things for shock value, there's reason behind it, and there's a good story to help things flow. But no, it's just shock value that can only be created by far left lunatics with deranged minds enough to think about it. But when you look at The Boys and you see the main world of The Boys, basically the world building saying that Homelander is an allegory for Trump, and he's a take on the evil Superman, and again, it's a evil, twisted version of truth, justice, and the American way, and the traditional values of a Superman archetype. And you mix that with the over politicization of The Boys and making superheroes an allegory for white supremacy, an allegory for MAGA. So much so that season 5 is going to lean into the territory of superheroes rounding up humans and putting them in internment camps. Because Holocaust, genocide, these fuckers say. And they like to equate in The Boys superheroes and superpowered beings with white supremacy. Okay, that's cool. I have a question for the X-Men fans, and I get it. Before you go into the comments and try and do the, well, actually, I get it. The X-Men is Marvel. The Boys is Garth Ennis. It's different. And they're two separate universes with two separate sets of rules. But I'm not addressing an in-universe thing here, because what I am addressing is the double standard hypocrisy of the meta real world allegorical nature of people using both as a sense to pull a gotcha on, I guess, anybody who's not a far left communist. They always like to say, The Boys is woke, deal with it, MAGA, deal with it, white people. And then you look at the X-Men and they're like, the X-Men has always been woke, deal with it, MAGA, because in the X-Men, it's the superpowered people who are the victims. They're the allegories for minorities, for people of color, for trans people, for gay people. That's what the mutants are all an allegory for, right? Well, see, how can you say that you claim the X-Men as woke for, having good stories for the better part of, 50 years or so, while also at the same time praising The Boys as like it's some sort of Shakespearean experience that is blowing your mind because of how good it is. It's actually fucking garbage slop. But hey, you'll take both because you need both, you commie weirdos. But I'm just trying to understand the double standard of victim mutants meets white supremacy Homelander. So what the fuck? Which one is it? Can you please pick a motherfucking lane? Because I'm just trying to understand why the X-Men is okay to be an allegory for my victimhoods, my people of color, my gayness, my transness. And then you have The Boys where it's my white supremacy, my January 6th, my MAGA, my QAnon. I don't get it. You both like to be a perpetual victim while also saying how you are somehow superior to everybody else because of your diversity or whatever. You people are fucking sick. You have infested culture. You have infested the very thing about what makes escapism great, which is that it brings us together. It doesn't divide us. It's supposed to bring us together. I would love to sit here and say that The Boys was a really good show and that I had a good time. I'd love to go and find my friends of all different demographics and talk to them about The Boys, much like I used to with the X-Men. I would love to do that. See, the thing is, why these people think it's good is because of how divisive it is. Because it agrees with their politics. Because they say, oh, it's good because it pisses off MAGA. These people are sick. They're deranged. And now they like to play the victim card. They like to say, oh, but we've never had stories like this before. It's the first time ever. You white people always had stories forever. We are looking at a hypocrisy on the level that I can't even get through a video for. And I know I'm going to get some people in the comments. This must be rage bait. This must be rage bait. Well, you can ask your mom if it was rage bait because I fucked her last night. Meanwhile, I fucked your trans dad too. How you feel about that, you fucking weirdos? I hate The Boys. Did I mention that? And as for the people that are pulling the far left fake nerds who have infiltrated pop culture, I'd like you to nicely pick a lane between victimhood X-Men and white supremacy The Boys. Because you can't have both. And if you have both, it just proves my point. It proves my point that it's hypocrisy, that it's bullshit, that it's a double standard. And you know what? I'm kind of checked out on it. You can go and sit in your little No Kings protest and, sit and spin in your puddle of piss and shit while you are whining about Orange Man on Blue Sky and thinking about the next elementary child you're going to plan on grooming or molesting. You do that. You go be happy in your little weird commie corner before hanging yourself, you fucking nut jobs. But pick a fucking lane when it comes to the X-Men or The Boys. Because it would help the rest of us, as if you gave a fuck about anybody else but yourselves. But just saying, think about it.